you right.
The boss of Phoenix Magic.
He's definitely done a lot to sort of put Phoenix on the map as far as the Magic community goes.
Yeah, although I believe now that he's moved back to his native Cincinnati recently. Oh,
really?
So, yeah.
I did not know that.
No longer.
So he just come out here for this?
Yeah, and just,
Awesome.
hang out with all the DI.
Oh, for sure.
Jam brews against the misers and, whatever.
As the kids say.
Yeah, as the kids say. As a couple of kids say.
They nearly spit water all over the mic.
So
here, Jason Broach, because he was #1 seed in the Swiss, will get the chance to play first.
And I made fun of Prosak about his handwriting, saying it looked like a middle school girl's diary, but apparently a lady friend of his had penciled it out. So that explains why.
That does explain a lot.
The big circular eyes and sort of the swoopy D's and, yeah. Dear diary. Wrote some something approximating a love note on top of the sheet too. So she seems pretty sweet.
All right. So here is Jason Broach also a local player?
I don't know. He seems like in between rounds he seemed pretty friendly with Adam, but like everyone's friendly with Adam,
sure.
So it doesn't really actually.
Adam's a pretty friendly guy. So.
Yeah.
So I think in this matchup, especially with the play in game one, I think Jason Broach is probably a bit of a favorite.
Yeah, and especially also another big part of the equation is actually just knowing deck lists.
Right.
Like you are, sort of muddling around in the dark about some of the reactive cards. Like is Stifle there? What are the numbers on Daze and Spell Snare? Are there any Spell Snares, period? What's the Force of Will count? Because all these things can fluctuate from like 2s and 4s or whatever.
Right. And yeah, I mean, knowing that he can just sack his fetch lands, doesn't have to wait, because there's no stifles in Adam's list.
Yeah. So that gives him a little more flexibility with his fetch lands. He can sit on them and
he can just hang out and use them as effectively as possible to have selection. Brainstorm, to give him more selection. Ponders to shuffle away the cards he doesn't want.
Do you think that the dude behind him? Do you think that mustache is real?
I assume so.
It feels like a coin flip on whether or not that's that's pretty snidely whiplashy.
That is quite the mustache. I've never had a mustache in my life.
No, I actually,
certainly none anything close to that.
I basically cannot grow facial hair. So.
I'm pretty close myself.
Yeah. So
I just get stubbly.
It looks like Broach is taking a mulligan here, and Prosak is going to keep. Prozak's also tough to tell because his body language doesn't really change, and he just puts his hand down when he keeps, so you actually never know if he's mulliganing. Sort of frustrating. But, Broach's deck is definitely capable of winning with very few actual cards. Doesn't need that many pieces to be able to do his thing, so. I feel like this deck, as far as the combo decks in Legacy goes, actually mulligans relatively well.
Yeah, I mean, it unlike a deck like Storm, for instance, it doesn't need a certain critical mass of stuff. Like Storm or Belcher, even High Tide, I mean, High Tide has the redraws and everything, but Show and Tell needs to resolve a Show and Tell. And have something that it wins with.
Yeah.
And with 4 copies of Hive Mind and the 3 copies of Progenitus, along with all the deck manipulation, it's pretty easy to assemble.
Prosak defeating Leon Kornacki in the top 8. Leon was playing Elves, brother of standard top 8 competitor John Kornacki.
Good weekend for the family.
Yep. Good to make it a family occasion,
Yeah. I actually started playing Magic with my brother.
Yeah, I actually kind of started. I mean, my brother didn't really stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he and I both got revised starter decks for Christmas one year and just battled out of those.
My brother to this day still insists that it was him who got me into Magic, when I at least very strongly remember coming back from a convention with some booster packs and my brother being interested in what those were. So
take that, Brian's brother.
Yeah. He actually, it was pretty cool because a couple years ago at the Hall of Fame ceremony, I was able to fly him out and he was able to watch everything. So sort of getting back from the beginning.
Right.
But looks like the players are ready to go.
Underground Sea.
And not the card that Jason wants to open with. As we were saying, it's very important for his mana base to be resilient to Wasteland. He needs to get to...
There's a Tropical and a Nimble Mongoose.
And Jason could theoretically just... If he has a 2-mana and Show and Tell, just go for it right now. That does leave him open to Daze, though he does know that Prosak only has 3 copies of Daze in his deck to go with 3 copies of Force of Will.
Also, because Prosak has Spell Pierce, there's sort of this,
right. Yeah.
Definitely
Prosak
an argument
has
for
4 Spell Pierces, not just some Spell Pierces. He has 4 of them.
I like just going for it. I think he's got Force of Will backup too. I actually don't know if he has anything to Show and Tell 4 is the big question.
Yeah, it looks like he's debating what he wants to actually. It looks he does have Show and Tell, and he does have a 2-mana land. And he has Force of Will. I just can't tell if he has anything that matters. Once he
I think he has an Intuition in his hand also. So I assume that he's debating between Brainstorm, Fetch Land, Shuffle, and Ancient Tomb, and firing off his Intuition right now. Prosak has drawn another Force of Will.
We have some people telling us that the mustache is in fact real.
Huh?
It's impressive. Already Spell Pierced.
How do you feel about piercing a Brainstorm there?
It depends on the sort of the rest of the texture of your hand. The fact that Jason mulliganed makes it much more attractive. Here, does Jason have an Intuition? You said that you thought that you did see one, right?
Yeah.
So I think if he does, he wants to Intuition when Prosak taps to play that Thought Scour.
Yeah. So that sort of signals that he doesn't really have one.
Yeah, I'm guessing he must not.
Alright, so he's going to fire off another Thought Scour. Trying to get to the threshold and get his clock a little bit faster here. Draws a Daze.
And the goose is loose. 3.
It's a 3 spot.
And Broach just draws for his turn.
Is that a Grim Monolith, I believe?
It appears to be. So there's an Ancient Tomb.
So the value of Prosak's soft counter is quickly going down the toilet.
Right, yeah.
It's basically just Force of Will or bust from here.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's sacking to go get some sort of islandish card.
Probably a basic island. Doesn't want to get the Volcanic to possibly go with the Pact of the Titan beatdowns.
And he doesn't want to take damage from his Ancient Tomb here when he's casting. The Grim Monolith is what appears to be going on.
So I guess he's just busting out the Monolith. Now, if Prosak has Spell Snare in his hand, Prosak's hand's like 3 Force of Wills and 2 other blue cards or something like that.
So, yep, that goose is coming in, dropping Jason to 12 life.
Going over the top of all of Prosak's, I think he actually might have 3 Force of Will, 3 blue card in hand currently. Goes for a Brainstorm, which Prosak allows.
So Jason is still digging for just anything to do with that Show and Tell, it looks like.
Yeah, and Prosak's got so many Force of Wills in hand.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Jason to do much here.
He's got a couple red packs in his hand.
Those are I mean, maybe he should have gotten a Volcanic if he does have red packs.
Yeah, I mean, he might just not be willing to run that because of the threat of Wasteland.
Sure, that's reasonable. At the same time, though, he's at risk of just dying with Mongoose. So
he's going to take 2 at the end of the turn. and attempt to land an intuition.
Yeah, and there is always the fear that if he does go for the Hivemind win, that Daze and Spell Pierce can still counter the copies that Prosak gets.
So right now, Broach's hand appears to be a Force of Will, a Show and Tell, and 2 red packs. Facing down, Prosak's hand still with multiple Force of Wills.
Not really going to cut it. And
we're going to see a bolt in a turn. Now it means those Ancient Tombs are basically just shut off.
So yeah, this is a pretty tough spot for Jason.
Yeah.
1 life.
His only disruption is Force of Will. He's got 2 Ancient Tombs in play. Prosak's just drawing a Lightning Bolt.
Yeah. I will bolt you.
And Prosak content to slow roll.
Yeah, I'll just let you concede. Bolt you.
Dang. Okay.
All right, there you go. I thought he was going to tap his Ancient Tombs there.
Yep.
It's like, no way, man. No way. I'm taking the damage.
Although it's not really a slow roll. Technically, it's correct to just wait.
Absolutely. Yeah. You gain nothing from bolting him then, and you can very readily respond to something that he could be trying to do, and he won't have the mana to pay for Force of Will.
So going to the sideboard, we know that Jason Broach last time brought in his 2 copies of Flusterstorm because he intuitioned for them at some point in the match.
Yes.
And the Emrakul, I do not believe we saw.
We didn't see Emrakul, though. We sort of postulated that it would be good.
Right, but he also pitched the Progenitus to a Force of Will. So
right.
Part of me.
I think that it's possible that the Emrakul plan may be better than the Hivemind plan.
Yes.
So I think that if you're fighting against things like Spell Pierce and Daze, even if you do resolve a Hivemind and you have a pack, you might still not win.
Yeah.
And that, I think, maybe you want to. We were saying it's pretty difficult to sort of strip your deck of the Hivemind plan entirely because so many of the slots are taken up by it. But it seems like bringing in the Emrakuls might be pretty good.
Okay.
But we do have another trivia question, this time for 6 months of StarCityGames.com Premium. And as always, if you have the answer, you want to post it on Twitter with the hashtag SCGPremium. And this one is actually from when you were gone for a little bit.
Yeah, this actually affects me, so this is pretty good.
So earlier, just at the end of the Swiss rounds, Jason Reedy was in the booth, and he announced that where the last 2 invitationals this year would be held. So we also posted it on Twitter, so you can find it very easily. But the answer, post it, where the 4 invitationals this year will be in total. So just post that, and you could win.
One's already in the books.
One has happened.
One is about to happen.
One is coming up very soon, and the other 2 were just announced today. So
yeah.
Just post on Twitter with hashtag SCG Premium what those 4 cities are, and you could win 6 months of premium. So
you should have this information anyway, because you should just be going to the invitational.
You should be.
I'm so sick and tired of berating people about this. It is insane to not go to this tournament.
Yeah, they're super high value. I had like 5 losses in Baltimore and got 10th.
Yeah, I had 6, and Ed chopped the last round on a 16-32 split. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I went 9-6 against actual human beings, and 10-4 in Indy, which was good for top 8.
Max Teets had 5 losses, made top 8 and won. So,
right.
There you go.
And any of you out there who are willing to fly to a Grand Prix where X and 3 gets you $200 or whatever it is now, because of all the buys from Planeswalker points.
It's absolutely crazy. So that the invitationals have far fewer players, still very strong competition.
Yeah, it's a tough field. I mean, that's the thing.
Because everyone sort of it's not an open tournament like a Grand Prix. It has a lot less players, but you're still gonna have to fight through a lot of quality competition to take that title.
Yeah, I mean, of my of the 15 rounds I played, it was something like I would say out of my 15 opponents, 12 of them were people that I recognize and recognize as being good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the vast majority of rounds I played against someone who I knew.
Right.
Like,
it was basically just you and 2 other randos. I didn't know. Otherwise, it was all ringers.
So, Jason down 1 game now, despite having the ability to play first in the first game, thanks to his #1 seed in the Swiss.
Yeah, just XO won, I think.
Yeah, he did not lose a match in the Swiss, and he won his quarterfinal match here. So he's what 9-0-1 so far.
Yeah, something like that.
8-0-1 so far. Not a bad record.
Right.
And Adam Prosak hoping to make that 8-1-1 here, as he hopes to win yet another Legacy Open here in his hometown of Phoenix. It's not necessarily where he lives anymore, apparently.
I believe that's Alex and Benjamin behind him, who actually my 3rd favorite platonic Magic couple, besides
Okay.
behind Tommy Ashton, Stephen King, and Greg Hatch, James Gates.
Okay.
My favorite pairs of people.
All right. I just don't have a response for that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right.
A little bit.
Good to know.
Yeah, that'll be the
That'll be
question
the next trivia question.
Who are my 3 favorite
Pairs of Magic players.
platonic Magic partners?
All right, so
Broach looks like he's going back for 6 again.
looks like he is, and Prosak is making faces at his hand.
So he's definitely keeping 7. It's the best possible 7.
I have
Just keeping up appearances.
Nope.
No, I'm wrong.
Back.
He's an honest man. I know that going forward now. That mustache is just actually just blowing my mind.
It is really a work of art.
Yeah. So whose side do you want to be on with both down to 6?
Well, I mean, the fact that Adam is on the draw makes the 1 fewer card a little bit less painful for him, but at the same time, his deck is with the threshold and mongoose and force of wills that he's needing to defend himself with, can be a little bit more. It requires a little bit more of his cards to actually come together. I mean, that said, he can just play a Delver or play a Goose and ride it, whereas Broach actually has to assemble a combo. So
yeah, it makes Prosak's 1-for-1s a lot more powerful, but it makes some of his situational reactive cards or his Force of Wills potentially worse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if he gets a few too many dazes in a 6-card hand, it's particularly bad.
Looks like we have some good submissions here.
Yeah, many answers.
Both players had to peel up their 6 here. Can Prosak get his 2nd Legacy crown in a pretty short span of time?
Yeah, I mean, he won. Where was it he won recently?
I mean, it had to be. Cincinnati, or
I think it was Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, take the title in both of his hometowns.
Oh yeah. So, looks like
Broach,
Jason is debating his hand.
Not thrilled about the 6 he's looking at.
Adam was briefly sort of giggling, and now is sort of giving Jason a death stare.
It looks like he has 6 spells in his hand.
Does he?
2 Flusterstorms, a Slaughter Pact, a Force of Will, a Show and Tell, and a Red Pact.
Well, that you have to mulligan. You can't
Yes.
play a card. Well, actually, that's not true. You can play Red Pact.
Yeah, just go beat down.
You can play your Red Pact, and
All right, he's going
yeah,
back.
all right. Well,
I appreciate considering trying to Gerard it up and just snap keeping 0 lands on the play. And,
your turn.
yeah.
There was the Mark Lepine. You've heard this? The Mark Lepine in like Worlds '99, I think.
Yeah.
In like playing for top 8, one of the last rounds, he mulligans, then mulligans again, and then he's just like, all right, go. And his opponent's like, oh, his opponent, I think it's like Italian. He goes, oh, no, you said you'd play. He's like, yeah, go. He's like, you said you'd play first. He's like, I have no land, go. And it turns out that his hand was triple Hydroblast, double Sea Sprite. His opponent was playing mono red. He drew Island, and just smashed him.
Yes.
That was back in the day that protection actually. It was actually the way that trample worked was you had to assign enough damage to a creature to kill it, not lethal damage, which is damage equal to its toughness. So protection soaked all trample damage, which made Sea Sprite very good against Ball Lightning.
Repent Blacksmith, Ball Lightning be the original, foundation for this interaction.
Times have changed.
They have. Well, Ball Lightning's still sweet, but yeah, they make them a little better than Repent Blacksmith.
Like Sea Sprite.
Yeah.
Or Core Firewalker.
Yeah.
What do you think about that guy?
Core Firewalker?
Favorite card of yours?
No, I actually don't mind a Core Firewalker.
Sure.
I can elaborate on it a little bit. So turn 1 Polluted Delta from Broach met by a Misty Rainforest for a to be determined blue land, Tropical Island, and a Delver of Secrets. I feel like when someone beats me with a card like that, they actually made some concession to their sideboard for the mono red matchup,
Sure.
So whatever. What I really hate are the cards like Kitchen Finks, where it's just such a free roll, and you still lose the exact same way.
It's no Batterskull.
Yeah, it's way cheaper.
Well, Batterskull when it was Stoneforge was around was the
Just kill
most
Stoneforge. I don't know what world you're living in. I never had a problem killing Stoneforge.
All right, so Jason,
Thinking about a City of Traders here.
he's gonna play it.
He's gonna
fetching.
I don't know exactly the wording
I
on
think,
City.
is it when you play a land or when a land comes into play? Because this may go poorly for him.
Yeah.
We should double check that. I believe it's play a land, but
Yeah.
City.
I feel like I would have seen that interaction accidentally come up at some point in my Magic playing days.
Yeah, it's when you play another land.
Okay.
So, all right. So does Jason have a show and tell here?
Yep.
He just got it? Or is he
I
just...
think he's casting a Ponder. It's a
Oh.
little weird because I don't think you want to lead with your. Oh,
Yeah,
I guess the threat of days makes you want to lead with your land first.
I mean, are you really afraid of getting your Ponder dazed? Doesn't really seem like, the worst possible scenario.
I mean, there's some hands Prosak could theoretically have where he would just fire off days on the first thing that he could target.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you're playing a city. It's not like you're playing, just another land. You're playing a City of Traders. This makes it so you can't ever get to 5 mana to be able to cast Show and Tell through Spell Pierce. Because you play other land, your City of Traders is dead. Looks like he does have Show and Tell. He keeps.
Delver in for 1. No second land from Prosak.
Maybe this one will.
He has Brainstorm, Force of Will, Flusterstorm, Pact of Negation, Show and Tell. So very
Sweet.
just.
Oh, that's
Force of Will,
not what
yeah.
you want to see. So Delver flips.
Doubling the clock and having a Force of Will. Although again, Prosak without a.
Yeah, he still doesn't have a second land. But Broach needs to find. Well, now he needs to find more than just a. Well, he doesn't have a Force of Will, so.
So is he thinking about firing off this Brainstorm?
I mean, if he brainstorms, he's just gonna get a land, and he's gonna play this turn. So.
Prosak just drew another Tropical Island.
That gives him. Oh, play a Tarmogoyf. All right. Well, that's.
So we know no Pierce.
Yeah, we know there's no Pierce, and Jason.
And see, that's actually a spot where I would consider firing off the Brainstorm because you're taxed on blue mana. That's
Right.
the biggest log jam.
Oh yeah, Broach didn't end step brainstorm there.
No, we're in his draw step.
I think you definitely wanted to end step brainstorm there because you want to be able to play Show and Tell and back up with Flusterstorm. I see the Flusterstorm in his hand.
Or just pay for days,
Yeah,
whatever you want to
something.
have.
Right.
So sets back 2.
And
He's got a Progenitus in the mitt. So it looks like we're going to be... It looks like he's going,
for it.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to show and tell a Progenitus into play. Which actually might not even be enough to race.
Yeah, that's not fast enough.
It's going to be hanging back on.
I mean, he's gonna be getting hit by Delver and die. This is, we were saying before how Tarmogoyf largely fell out of favor as a defensive creature. Is Progenitus not enough either?
Yeah, I mean, this is a spot where you really would want Emrakul, because
right,
Emrakul could sweep this up.
Emrakul would take this game over. Whereas Progenitus, not going to cut it.
Does very little.
Not going to cut it. He's in a 3-turn clock, even with Progenitus. If he attacks with his Progenitus, he just dies in the crackback. And there's the show and tell.
Okay, so we'll see if he has days or...
And he's going to force of will. And Jason presumably will force of will back. Prosak with just some burn spells. And
he's got a Goyf. He gets to actually just show and tell a Goyf into play.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, does Prosak just kill him? He's attacking with all his creatures. He blocks a Goyf. How big are the Goyfs? There's sorcery, instant,
land,
no creature.
So 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, I mean, he's puts him to 1. And just send the squad. He has a chain lightning in his hand. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. So just confirming the size of the Goyf, which appear to be 3/4.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jason can block a Goyf. He takes 7, goes to 1. He's just in a position where he's not going to really be able to do anything here.
No.
If that Progenitus were Eldrazi flyer,
yes,
he would be able to.
Basically, would put Prosak on having to draw a red source of mana to be able to.
Well, no, he could even block the Delver, attack back, and eat all his permanents. But yeah, I mean,
does Emrakul fly?
Yeah,
seems excessive.
Emrakul does everything. So there it is. Adam Prosak takes the match 2-0. Progenitus not enough for Jason Broach to come back in that one.
Yep. And that is not the first time, nor will be the last, that I've seen a Progenitus easily outraced in Legacy.
Oh yeah, Progenitus is big. It's not that big though.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the card is there's that gap where you have to attack with it and your opponent's not dead.
Right.
And that's